Hello, everybody, and welcome to this latest in the ValuesJam guest session series. Aishwariya, brilliant to have you here. So to start with, please introduce yourself and tell everybody about the great work that you do.
Hello, Namaste. This is Aishwariya Jayakumer from India, and I am more about a creative person. I have a little bit of background from performing arts as well as, my educational qualification is administrative, business administration, and I do pursue some Indian music and dance forms. I have learned and I have some qualifications in that. So I believe in creativity. So here I am to advocate creativity as a great value for everybody who should take it as whatever way, in way, refreshing way to have a lively and enjoyable life daily. So little creativity is always good for healthy life. I believe personally, and I do have website Creative Elegance where I give short courses for creative writing, business communication, and I'm affiliated with some international platforms for writing as well. So I have also started editing. I'm doing multiple services for some authors, international authors, like book designing, formatting, editing. So this is what I am. But I totally agree that we all should be creative, joyful, and be end of the day, whatever makes you happy is something that you should pursue. So I'm here to share that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well said, Aishwarya. And you've reminded me actually the co-author of the book that I'm working on at the moment, Jean-Pierre, was recently invited to India to attend a wedding. And he sent me some video clips of during the few days, and it was of people dancing, and you could just tell that they were having such a joyful time through, listening to the music and the way they were moving. It was just by seeing that video, you could feel and sense how much enjoyment was happening there. It was just
Yes,
great.
actually, weddings are very much, important idea in India. They take it very seriously as well as traditionally. But some people nowadays they make little large out of it. I think it should be more about families connecting, and it should be more meaningful. I'm not commenting on it; it's their choice. But it has been that way. The tradition over in India for weddings and all the rituals has been so colorful, but it has been, as days passed in recent times, I have seen it taking little bit melodramatic twist, with lots of dramas and music and stuff. Okay, enjoyment and meaningful connections are very much important. While we connect with each other in that moment, we should have some sort of stuff, but which are sometimes little bit irrelevant, I felt.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
but it is very diverse country, so we have different stratas who are nowadays making very much, as I said, they are making statement out of it. Ah, it's my wedding, so I want to, do this much of expenditure and this and that. I feel it should be more sticking to what values you come out of it, why weddings are really meaningful, what purpose it is, and how the families traditionally practiced it. We have to respect it. Where you are from, you have to stick to your roots as well. So that should be the forte. For me, that is what wedding really sounds like.
Yeah, and I share what you've just described about our celebration of Christmas, for instance.
Exactly.
So, it's I'm not a religious person. Obviously, the roots of Christmas are in religion, but I do believe strongly that Christmas is a family time for people to be together and enjoy each other. And in some places, it's become over commercialized, and maybe people are not really feeling the essence of it. Um, and actually, I saw it was a study about some, I think maybe psychologists, and they had asked young children about the definition of the word love. And an 8-year old, I think, 7 or 8-year old child had said that to them, what was it? It was something like this: love is what you can hear at Christmas if you stop opening your presents and just listen.
Well, well, I think that is something he has been instilled by the surrounding
Yeah,
atmosphere of family or whatever. I don't know exactly how to put it. But we all should actually, I feel that the real love and connection should be taught in a way where we live it daily. We connect meaningfully.
yeah,
You know, it's not about celebrating and connecting on one particular day and just leaving all about it. But yeah, that's what it is. I think the family and the background do matter when the ideas come out of the younger ones, especially. I have many occasions where I have interacted with younger ones, and I used to feel like, yeah, whatever they reflect is all because of their family or their background or whatever they, wherever they come from.
definitely. So let's see which card we are given today from the
Okay.
ValuesJam card deck. So these cards are all mixed up, so I'll just give them a bit of a shuffle as well. So how many piles would you like me to make in front of me?
Um, Three?
Three, okay. And these piles are different sizes. And so
Okay.
would you like the pile on my left, on my right, or in the middle?
Um, Left.
My left. Okay. So I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 26 cards in this pile. So a number
Wow.
between 1 and 26.
Quite a number, huh?
Yeah, that's you chose the biggest one.
Yeah, I just happened. It just happened.
That's okay. So which number between 1 and 26 will you choose?
I would like to choose nine.
Number 9. Okay.
Let us see what pops out of it. I
Let
have
us
no clue
see.
whatsoever.
So
Wow, clarity. Wow. I love it.
why are you so pleased?
Because since we all are in such a great race in our lives, sometimes gaining that sort of clarity is a little bit difficult. We might mess up, we might be, so stressful, and we are always chasing our dreams and our goals and stuffs. That clarity is a very necessary one, which we have to reevaluate sometimes when we are headed towards our work or in our lives, in whatever way, I mean.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes I feel that it is big with people. I have seen them talking about clarity, but not practicing it or not having a clear picture. Having a big picture is right about how you are going to make things. You have to strategize, you have to plan it, and you have to implement it. But the clarity is something, sometimes it's bit, I feel it's not defined exactly where it should have been. So it's
So
very great value that we have shared that
it
today.
is. It is.
It is, yeah.
And you've made me nearly laugh actually. So smile and nearly laugh because I think what you were saying is we need more clarity about clarity.
Yes, yes, definitely. We all need it where we are at present and what we really practice. It's all about gaining those clarity. And I feel sometimes when we are in our daily lives and in our work or in our routine, whatever you practice, I mean that we should take some pause and take self evaluating moments where you introspect and you present yourself with that clear picture that, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, this is what my task is going to be. So this sort of mess, when they people are always like, oh, this is the time I have been scheduled, I have to run, they don't take that sort of little bit of pausing period for them to refresh and regenerate and then proceed with that energy which they can really gain and gain a clarity as well.
Yeah.
Clarity with energy, that is what I feel that makes a person achieve more. but that's sometimes lacking. Even I do that mess.
We
So
all,
that's
yeah.
why I was like, wow, it's a great card that I should celebrate then.
So let me ask you this question then to help us make things clearer. So what does clarity actually mean? And what does it look, sound, and feel like? So what does it mean? And then that metaphorical answer is the second part.
Meaning of clarity. Okay, well, I feel clarity is a very essential part where you gain insights and how you are going to do, what you're going to do, and when you're going to do, whatever it is. So that is a very essential tool that should be taken into consideration. And it has a great value for a person to achieve and proceed in life with great confidence. If you have clear picture and clarity, you can proceed in your life, you can succeed, you can journey well in your life. So it is a great tool. As far as I consider, it is a great tool and it has a value for a person to achieve in their life better. Whoever they are, they can be better person. They can gain clarity for whatever they are looking for in their life. That can be purpose, that can be their dreams, goals, whatever it is, in whatever way they defined it, because each and every individual defined um, life in a different way. We cannot put the tag on it like, this is what it is. But I feel that clarity helps a person to journey well ahead.
Yeah, I absolutely agree how important it is. And you've made this interesting point about everybody has their own perspective. And so
Yes.
that makes it quite challenging for us
Yes.
to establish clarity when
Because
that's the case.
sometimes, when you're chasing your dreams and your goals, you're tagged like, you're ambitious. But it is valuable for them. Their dream does have a value for their own life. We cannot gauge them. Oh, you are very ambitious, you're not considering anything else, you're just going for chasing your dream and you're doing this and that. There have been many judgmental aspects that involve from external forces. That is sometimes disturbing, so we should not take that into consideration. When clarity comes, that helps a person to really look forward in life. And in whatever way, as I said, each and every person defines their life in their own way and their own situation and background. Everything counts, of course, the constraints, whatever they come from, it all has its own part to play. So we have to be respectful, and that's why I said that everyone has their own ideas and perspectives, which we cannot exactly put it in a way. So
Yeah,
by
this,
saying that, we might be limiting. So it's better to take it in a wider picture.
yeah, and that's almost contradictory because when I started to think about clarity, I started to think about removing ambiguity, avoiding misunderstanding, being specific, having a lot of detail. But then when you bring multiple perspectives into play, that is maybe not possible to have one view. So then
Exactly.
clarity becomes more about understanding where there are similarities and togetherness, and also understanding where there is separation and difference, perhaps.
Exactly. The clarity also gives you an idea of openness. If you are open also, that helps as an additional tool, to work along with it and achieve whatever you are looking forward. It might be in different ways, as you said, yes, misunderstanding, ambiguity, or whatever it really applies for. The application might be in its own way. But when a person has a clarity and has that sort of openness to discuss it, communicate it, then that's where the things might be sorted. So if it is in that perspective, like as I said, if they are ready to communicate it and establish their clear picture, then that's one more thing that we can think about.
Yeah. And before we started to record this session, we were talking about the book that you're going to have published quite soon. And you were telling me about how you were making some final adjustments to make sure that you were looking at the book from the reader perspective rather than the author perspective. And it just strikes me that clarity must have been one of the things that drove you while you were going through this process, right? So could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was quite an interesting journey. As I said, initially, this journey started with my course. I have a business communication course designed, which is affiliated with Re-Ink Publications UK, and I am also affiliated Creative Elegance, my website, and we are collaborating and presenting this course. So that is where this book started. I designed all the syllabus and all the design, the materials for the course, which could be helpful for the students to gain how the communication really plays an important role in connecting professionally as well as in the business world. So it has different perspective dimensions where they can gain some insights and they can really use that as a tool for them to, gradually see a great what do you say, advancement in their career, and professionally they can seek some sort of clarity. So when I was designing my book, yes, I had a great deal of challenge because my syllabus, I had to reflect my syllabus. So I started first taking into consideration my syllabus and my course. Then I started designing it. But then I had some sort of little ambiguity, as you put. So that's where I wanted some clarity and some guidance. I happened to be reviewing for some authors who were from business world as well. So I just had some word with them and I sent my materials for their guidance as well. They guided me through some stuff which was inconsistency and some sort of, clarity when it comes from reader's perspective. I was writing it more from, a writer's perspective. Oh, okay, this is what, this is what. And they gave me, as a reader, I could not find this very clear. You have to mention this. Since for this types or this sort of theory, you have to mention this is what it is. So then I gained some ideas and some, as you said, some guidance from them, pointers, which helped me to again redesign my whole content. Then I did go through again all of it as an editing. Before editing, I just restructured and then again I did my editing. Still, I had a feedback from my father, who is also happens to be an academician and professor, who gave me a feedback that there should be little changes that are necessary in my book. So I'm working on it. Yes, but clarity has been a great, great word that has played when I was writing this book. I had gained that from multiple sources, and now I think it is in a better shape for readers to gain some insights from it.
Great. And actually, the topic of your book also relates to clarity because if you're
Yes,
talking about communication in business, I seem
yes.
to remember isn't there a famous quote about the biggest mistake made with communication is thinking that it has happened or something like that?
Yeah. But the communication is very crucial and a very key element when it comes to connecting and networking in professional realm as well as in personal space. So we all have to clearly put what we are really looking for and what is it that we are, and especially when you're working in teams. Nowadays, there have been hybrid working types where the teams are, located in remote locations. You have to be very clear in your communication, whether it is written or whether it is verbal. You have to be very precise that how you want to take things ahead. So potentially when you are communicating with your all your work, you have to be efficiently putting and effectively taking that conversation for the other party to understand. And also there should be a reciprocation, which comes through listening part, that you have to be very good at listening as well. It's not only talking, or communicating, conversing with the parties. That can be anybody who is in business world. We have investors, shareholders, customers, different key players who might be at active play. But we have to be very much looking for the listening stuff also, where the attention, how they really gain the attention of the audience, how they communicate with their products, and how they really put their business, and how they really come out of it. So this communication book highlights those aspects, that is for internal as well as external forces in business, because organization contains its own internal environment as well as external
Yeah.
parties. So it highlights that how internally with their own workforce, how they can communicate effectively, and what are the sources and pointers that can help them to work precisely when they are gaining, I mean, they are approaching towards their goal. And as well as when it comes to external drivers of communication channels, there are many. We all might be knowing, like, print media, advertising media, digital media. There are many medias that we are tapping into nowadays, like emails, advertising, websites, and social media. So wherever, whatever platforms you're choosing, you have to be very clear what is it that, what value you're bringing, what is your brand value, what is your organization's value, what is it that you are going to finally deliver as a product or service, that as a result that you have to communicate with your audience. So, but the clarity is, again, I'm emphasizing on clarity since I got that card. So clarity is something that is necessary when you're doing that. So one of the key element that comes in the 7C concept also. So clarity is a very good idea in my communication book.
You're making me think of two examples here as well. So the first one is around perception, because sometimes when we send a message out, we're very clear what we think we have either said or written or whatever it is. But I think generally there is a lack of understanding of the difference in perception from somebody else's point of view. And as a result, I think probably, and I include myself in this, we need to spend more time checking and confirming that understanding has taken place, or if there's any shortcoming, because otherwise you risk a time going by and then the gap getting wider and wider as you go. Whereas if you put a little bit more effort in at the beginning to ensure that there is clarity and understanding on both sides, then perhaps that challenge wouldn't happen. And yet I see, for instance, people will send an email or a communication, and then they don't actually pay any attention to checking or confirming the understanding, maybe because they think that most of the time it's not necessary. So that's the first one. And then the second one is how inadequate words are in many situations. And I remember some research, I think it explained that when you communicate, 55% of your communication is through your body language. And then another significant percentage is through the tone of your communication. And so if you remove, when you're relying on written word, you haven't got any body language, you haven't got any tone. And so you're trying to work with probably less than 20% of your total capability. So it's like, why do we rely on words so much when it's so inadequate? What do you think?
Yeah, it really helps, because when we do communicate, we do articulate it. And the dynamics that we introduce in our vocal slang, that does matter. when we are connecting with it. And if there is a difference between backgrounds, you're from some other background, I'm from some other background. Since nowadays we are seeing most of the companies that they are having multinational outlooks. This is something that they have to consider, as they have to be very precise where, when and how they are communicating with their prospects.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have to be a little bit more sensitive, and you should gain some sort of emotional intelligence should be playing a part, where you should be considerable, very inclusive, open, flexible as well. You cannot be very rigid when you're putting things in front of any programs or any occasions where you're communicating in meetings or in webinars or anything that might be a occasion. So you
Mm.
have to articulate. So words do matter, and they do consider, people do consider it. But it's only thing is, as you said, yes, the other party who comes from the different background must have that knowledge, that jargon knowledge as well, because some technical jargons are not very much well versed with everyone. You have to be little flexible when you're explaining it to non-technical people. So there are departments as well. So you have to differentiate it, how you communicate and what is the purpose of communication. You have to establish some clarity. So again, we are back to clarity.
And what advice would you give to people? Because I'm thinking sometimes clarity can almost appear insulting. And the reason I say this is, imagine somebody who is highly experienced with another person who is highly experienced, but they don't know each other. And so the highly experienced person who is maybe communicating something to be done is conscious that they need to be very precise and clear about their instructions. But then the receiver is saying, why are you telling me all of this detail? I've been doing this for so many years. You don't need to be like this with me. So, what advice would you give in that situation where there is a risk that clarity can actually get in the way of a relationship?
I would like to put it this way, because when you have open conversations and discussions, when you're open for it, you might have that sort of feedback mechanism. You have to be open for the feedback mechanism as well. So you have to be diplomatic and polite and respectful when you're communicating. So you can just make sure that by highlighting, since I have been doing this, I am a little bit, known to this matter, but what is it that you would like to add on this part, that you could come up with some creative questions or some sort of an additional ideas in your conversations. That's how you can take this in a healthier manner, rather than putting it in a very professional manner. Oh, I'm experienced, equally experienced, why would you teach me, or why would you try to instruct me? That is something that is even the person who has communicated initially should have that consideration, that openness, and that sort of making a conversation comfortable for both, for the deliverance as well as for the receiver part who is delivering it, and for the person who is sender as well as receiver. We in communication we put it that way: the sender who communicates and the receiver who receives it. So both the parties have to be little sensitive and little open and attentive at the same time. If you just take some part of it as you like, and you just omit other things which you are not interested, that may again bring many sort of conflicts and discrepancies. So you have to be very clear when you are communicating, and if you have any doubts, there can be healthy questions which you can part with each other. Q&A sessions are very good when it comes, when you're working with some teams. So you can just ask them. The center also can ask the audience or the person who is delivering it. They should ask the people that if they have anything that they would like to clear. And if you are having any doubts, I would like to clear that part. And this
Yeah.
is my idea. What do you think about it? You have to ask other person's
Yeah.
opinion as well. If you treat other person's opinion equally, then I don't think so there is any part of any sort of conflict coming out of it. Probably these differences and this sort of ego driven and very professionally rigid approaches are which always giving some sort of conflicts and communication problems, barriers, actually I would put it that way. So these barriers can be avoided when you are very much tuned with Q&A and getting some suggestions and flexibility. And as you said, yes, words and tonal manner all does matter. If you are very much precise and this is what I want, please do it, then that doesn't make any sense. People will definitely take it, who is he to order me? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it in my own way. They might not take it as seriously if when you do it in a friendly and open manner. I'm not telling you to connect and totally share everything. Professional space is professional, yes, but little bit of diplomatic and respectful manner which helps them to be inclusive, that helps a team to really effectively contribute and
Yeah.
efficiently operate.
I think the key thing that is coming out of this exploration for me is that clarity is a mutual endeavor. It is not for one person to be responsible on their
Yes,
own. And yet, I'm just remembering times through my career when actually the focus and the emphasis does seem to be on the person who is the transmitter to be clear. You know, you are responsible for clarity with the communication. It's your job, blah, blah. Whereas if the teaching was more about the importance of clarity and how clarity is actually mutual. And so the objective is to establish clarity with somebody else. And that's how you can then go forward. It seems such a very simple, different view, but so much more powerful, right?
yes, exactly. And it can really contribute well. Potentially, your work can be, gaining more speed as well as that, what we say, um, post that what you are looking for, that can be really uh, tremendously, you can see the change when you are communicating clearly and openly. So that is something that sometimes hinders
Yeah.
in many projects, and people do see stagnation, and they feel like this is not moving ahead and this is something I'm not clear about, and then again going back and circling out. It's better when the person, whoever is communicating, should have that clarity whatever points they are coming off, and they should be open to mutually get the feedback and the questions as well, so that
Yeah.
they can again clear those points which are not clear with the receiver's point of view. So this is two-way communication, which we in communication subject we say it is a two-way idea. So this clarity can be gained from two-way communication. That is, the sender as well as the receiver has to take equal part when they want to seek clarity. That
Yeah.
is something very important.
Yeah. So let's play now with this metaphor part of the question. So when you think of the word clarity, what images come to mind? What sounds come to mind? And what feelings come to mind?
Okay, it is quite a great question. It has taken me to some other space actually. But I feel personally, I used to practice music, which used to give me mental clarity. So when you said that sound and the space and where I can establish clarity, it has been whenever I used to practice my music, Indian music, singing or playing. It used to give me some clarity and refreshing ideas, when I end of the session, when I'm like, oh, when I used to sit, I used to be thinking of lot of stuff going around me, and now I have to do this and that and this and that and all everything going around, and my mental space is so much trafficked and jammed. So I want to make some clarity. It is simple notes and simple sounds that give that serendipitous movement, the clarity, refreshing and regenerating ideas that pop up. And then when once I'm done with that practice or that session, then I gain some sort of confidence. Okay, yeah, I am now balanced, grounded. I have some sort of energy again, and I have gained some clarity as well. Now, this is not how it is working. Yeah. So that is how I see that. I mean, for me, it relates to music practice where
Okay.
I bring that clarity from.
Yeah. And for me, some similarities and some differences. So when I think about clarity and images, it reminds me of, for instance, last year on holiday in Greece on an island and going to a place where the water was so clear you could see the bottom, even though it was quite deep water. So that clarity. And then the sound is where it relates to music. So I can hear um, a bell just struck once and the sound just continues and is very, very clear.
That reverberation that, stays for longer period. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's quite rich.
yeah.
Yes.
And then feelings. I think when I think about clarity, I feel no burden, no pressure, no confusion, just real ability to go and do something and do it really, really well because not only are you clear, but other people around you are clear as well. And so everybody is able to contribute and achieve something fast and good because of that clarity.
Beautifully said, sir. Because that is something that we all do not recognize in a way that we should recognize. But yeah, as you said, yes, we have to take some time. And when you're clear, you can give and establish that clarity around everyone, around people, for everyone, that you can cater that as a tool, that yeah, this guy is clear, he wants this, and you have established that clarity for them as well. So
Yeah.
that really gives a healthy space for everyone to connect as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, beautifully said.
I think that what we're talking about here, I'm excited about this because it's kind of giving a different perspective, and it's so good to be having this sort of conversation. But there, where we're talking about clarity and everybody being able to move forward, the other thing that comes into play that again, I wonder how much time and attention we give this is that things change. And so you can have clarity in one moment, but that doesn't mean to say it's still there the next moment. And
Exactly.
so this is a reminder to keep checking that clarity is still in place because otherwise it's very a bit like the weather. You're out walking in a place where the sky is clear, but then maybe the mist arrives. And so then it's no longer the same situation.
Exactly, but because if you're stagnant in one place, if you're stuck yourself, then I don't think so that is going to help you. So seeking for clarity in whatever way it means in that moment defines differently. The clarity cannot be defined same for a person in different in the stages. It is defined differently. It cannot be defined same. So you have to be very clear when in whatever stage you are stuck, you have to reevaluate, revisit, and then consider all the other aspects around you and then seek that clarity. So we sometimes with our mental clutter and all that baggages that we carry from our past, which are unnecessary, sometimes we don't seek that sort of clarity. As you said, yes, each and every time the clarity changes its version.
Yeah.
As our iOS or Android changes its versions, like new version comes in the mobile phone. The
Yeah.
same way that we have to update ourselves. Change is inevitable. I have always advocated that. I have also experienced that. Of course, this sort of understanding came through experience and age. But as I said, yeah, it keeps changing. So
Mm.
you cannot define it in a very precise and manner. As I said, each and every individual has their own journey. So they'll be in different stages. As I'll be in different stage, you might be in different stage. So,
Yeah.
so we seek different clarity in our lives.
Hmm.
So our definitions might be different. It might be same in a way where we are approaching it, but the definition and the duration for it, we are where we are seeking it and how we are implementing it might be different. So you just can't take that. It is taking its own versions, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, for everyone it is
Okay.
different.
So let's go to the other side of the coin of clarity now, and I'd like to ask you a very kind of nitty-gritty question, which is,
Okay.
where have you noticed a lack of clarity?
In my own family, I would put it that way. Oh, yeah, because sometimes it is always like that. We don't plan sometimes, and it is sometimes things happen, and then we come into that sort of a phase where we have to gain that clarity and we have to put it. In recent times, we just came to know some official document was not proper. Then later on, we all family members, my mom, dad, and me, we had word with each other how to fix this and that, and I came up with all the people I called, and then I came up with that, and we changed all the address proofs and stuff, small stuffs, but we it should have been done in a proper way. We should have gained that clarity before itself, but it was too late for us. Maybe we were in our own run or whatever it is. I did miss it. My dad missed it. My mom missed it. It was all like when finally when we had a meeting, we were like, what the hell did we do so far? We did not realize it. And it's such an important document. We should have changed our address, and it is in the old address. So now we have gained that perspective from some other party, which suddenly gave us, and we did not plan it. So in that moment, we had that chat and conversation. We gained it, and we took some advice that how we should do that. Furthermore, no delays and nothing. We want to change things. So then we changed things. So this is how the mess comes from. I think I have seen in my own family. We don't plan, then the clarity is something that is not there. We have to sometimes see suddenly something pops up. Oh my God, you did not tell me this. Okay, okay, let us solve this. So I think this is something that I wanted to highlight.
Yeah, and so I've got a family example as well. I was with my daughter, not this weekend, the weekend before, and she had a problem with the inside of her mouth, which was giving her pain. And she had been taking paracetamol to control the pain. And so we went to a pharmacy to see if they had something a bit stronger that she would be able to take. And they were really helpful and suggested something that had codeine, which is a stronger painkiller, and it was with paracetamol. And so the lady said, you can take it with ibuprofen, but
Oh,
don't take it with paracetamol
okay.
because it already had paracetamol in, right? And you'd take too much. So Evie said, okay. And then a bit later, I said, have you planned when you can take your medication? And she said, yes, I can take the one that we got at the pharmacy now, and then I'll take paracetamol later. So I said, no, not paracetamol,
You're
ibuprofen.
not supposed to take.
And Evie said, I didn't mean paracetamol. I meant ibuprofen. And and then another occasion, she said it again. And I was just, my intention was simply that we would avoid her taking the wrong thing, because obviously you wouldn't want that to happen. But she was really offended because in her head, she knew very clearly what she wanted to do. She just used the wrong word every now and again. And
Exactly.
so,
No, that sometimes happens, sir. That we do speak from the same intention, but the way we put things out, that messes up. As
yeah,
you rightly put that clarity, when we were discussing about clarity, you came up with the word that, misunderstanding and ambiguity and all this sort of things come when we are expressing in a different manner. She
yeah,
meant the same thing, but
yeah.
it was like, the word was paracetamol. That's the way the confusion started
And
probably.
here's I think the important point here is that then a little bit later, I just said to her, look, I'm really sorry for making you feel bad. But all I was trying to do was make sure that you didn't take the wrong thing. And she said, yes, I know that you were trying to do that, but the way that it felt was like this. And once we had had that conversation, everything was fine. Whereas sometimes people choose not to have that conversation, and then the lack of clarity remains, the bad feeling is still there, and it's not a good situation.
Yeah, because you were open, sir. You did not hesitate to communicate. Again, go to her and communicate with her that I did not mean this was just an, thing that I wanted you to have a right medicines. Maybe I just wanted to emphasize on that part. Maybe you're taking the right one, but I just wanted to give you that. So it was nothing more than that. But some people, they have that sort of an thing. Okay, I did not say anything wrong. Why should I go and explain? When you have that sort of attitude and ego, that's where things start, creating that negative ideas and negative vibrations or whatever it is. It might be in different level, but yeah, you chose to communicate, and that level of flexibility and openness should be there. You took that as an opportunity to express yourself that yeah, I did not mean that way, I was like meaning this, and I wanted you to take the right medications. That's why I was just emphasizing on it. And she also had that openness. Yeah, I understood that this is what it is. So this sort of as I said, yeah, both the parties were very active and very considerate, and they were taking everything into consideration. When we do that as an humans, when we connect without any judgment or without any preconceived notions, we should not judge people. Basically, I feel that everything comes from that part where we have that sort of judgmental aspects placed before we get to know that person. I have seen people doing that mistake, and with that starts everything. When you are communicating, you do reflect with your tone and behavior, and they do understand that exactly. Some people, they take it as, oh, she's trying to be very humble or she's acting. Let it be, no problem. But if you are humble, if you are open to it, it should give clarity to the other party. That's what your intention should be. So rather than, taking others' point of view or you making judgments, that's something that we all have to avoid, I guess.
And Aishwarya, I think that's a really good point for us to start to bring this values jam to a close. And there's always one final question, and that is, what are you encouraged to do differently about clarity as a result of this conversation today?
What I would like to do differently.
Yeah, what are you encouraged to do differently about clarity now we've had this conversation?
I would like people to plan first. Planning is something that I would like them to consider before whatever they put it out in their work or anything. So clarity comes from planning. So a little bit of planning and space where they can really re-visualize or utilize their work in a proper manner and then present it. So I think the planning stage is very important. I would state like that.
Okay.
So I would like to put it that way.
And I think you've got a very good opportunity because your book is happening very soon. So I'm sure over the
Yeah.
next few weeks, you're going to be able to make sure that your planning is very clear about what's going to happen at the various.
I hope so because I have tried my best to come up with all the concepts,
Yeah,
not in a very academically written way. I have also given some examples that how it really works and how it really helps them to understand. As I said, we all are working for multinational platforms and different locations. The businesses are expanding nowadays. So organizations have globally explored many markets where they have to be very dynamic and they have to know the nuances, how to communicate with the audience and what are their end audience do matter. So what they are really up to, what's the purpose of the communication. So that is what the book intends for the students as well as for the readers to gain some perspective that these are the stuff that we have to consider and we have to change it if we want an effective and efficient way of communication to play at large in a business community.
and if people are listening to this or watching this thinking, oh, this book sounds fantastic, where will they be able to get it?
I'm planning to release it soon in Amazon, and it'll be probably I'm planning it in a Kindle as well as a paperback.
Okay.
I have to discuss the later part about a hard copy, I mean hard paper,
Yeah,
but I have planned for this two versions. So probably they will get an link, and I'll be posting soon the dates and stuffs once it is discussed with my publishing house.
great.
So I have to get in touch with them. So I'm planning in a month or a month after the suitable dates when we can coordinate and release that book. So I'll be soon posting all the details.
Okay. And my what I'm encouraged to do different about clarity as a result of our conversation is to remind myself in any communication situation that it is a two-way effort, rather than feel the pressure and the obligation for it to be my responsibility. And I've got a call in 2 hours' time with a client organization to talk about the agenda for a session that we're conducting next week. And so that's going to be a brilliant opportunity for me to put that into practice. So, Aishwarya, I just want to thank you for helping me have more clarity about clarity today. So, thank you very much.
I really enjoyed, sir, to be very honest. And it was my pleasure to be part in your Values Jam session today. And I hope our conversation or whatever we came up with, that our audience and our people who are watching will connect and we will understand that what we were really trying to share in our part. So let us see how the clarity really helps them in their life. I hope we all gain that in our own way because we all are unique. So I won't restrict clarity in any manner, but each and every time when we are stuck or we are confused, we need to seek clarity. So clarity should be a tool which really helps you to gain some confidence and the focus to journey well. So that's the reason I said we need to plan certain things.
Well said. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.